And I believe we should teach history. From the data I see, 1619 was the year that the first slave boat came from Africa to the United States. So that's a point in history that I think we should be teaching.
Pretty fiery interview there between Randy Weingarten, head of the powerful American Teachers Federation, and our own Martha McCallum. Weingarten backing the teaching of the 1619 Project in classrooms across America. But in a new op-ed, former teacher and chief executive officer of the Texas Public Policy Foundation, Kevin Roberts, says kids are the ones who suffer from critical race theory in the classroom, and he joins us now. Kevin, thanks for being here. Why did you feel compelled to write this op-ed?
Todd, I'm a fifth-generation teacher. I've taught every level of school, from graduate students down to elementary school kids, and I can tell you, regardless of the color of the skin, regardless of where they come from in the United States, all they want to do is understand why this country is the last best hope for the world, and critical race theory simply undermines that teaching, what they're sort of hardwired to know, which is that America is a great country.
Here's what the Biden administration wants to do. This is long, so please bear with me. Priority 1 includes projects that incorporate racially, ethnically, culturally, and linguistically diverse perspectives into teaching and learning. And then priority 2, using standards of proof, understanding and recognizing bias, understanding how inaccurate information may be used to manipulate individuals, developing strategies to recognize accurate, inaccurate information. I know you're an educator. I also come from a family of educators. A lot of education buzzwords in there that, quite frankly, I don't know what they all mean. What does that mean, though, in reality for the teachers trying to educate our students on the ground?
You know, you make a good point, Todd, about that vocabulary. I always warn my students, anytime you see all those words that don't quite mean anything, or maybe it's a bunch of nice-sounding words strung together, you ought to be a little cautious. And the reality is that if this rule is implemented by the Biden administration, we're going to require any school that receives federal funding, which would be almost all of them, to teach critical race theory. In that rule, just a little bit further down from what you read, this rule would actually cites Ibram Kendi, who's one of the most radical scholars in the United States. It'd sort of be like letting Malcolm X drive the curriculum of all schools in America. And ultimately what it does, just to get down to brass tacks, Todd, is define every human being according to their race, the exact opposite of the achievements that this country has made over the last 5 or 6 decades.
Kevin, 30 seconds on this final question. What can the average parent do, regardless of their race, to protect their kids from this?
They need to go to school board meetings. They need to ask the curriculum coordinators of their school districts how extensive critical race theory has made it into their curricula. They also need to go to the U.S. Department of Education website and post a comment on this rule. They have just one more week to be able to do that. I can tell you that there is a way to defeat this, but it's going to require interested parents who want to protect their children from this nonsense to get involved.
Kevin Roberts, we appreciate your time and insight this morning. Thank you very much.